Welcome back to Take Action News, everybody. David Shuster here. So glad to have you with us. And by the way, you can always check out our YouTube channel now, Take Action News TV on YouTube. And for folks who are already there, you may be saying, "Oh my God, why is the camera just focused on Shuster? Show us other things." We'll get there. Trust me, one step at a time. You'll believe me, you'll be able to see Daniel Marins and Mitch Molaski, the whole crew. We're just starting this thing. And you'll even be able to see our guests and what they look like. We're so pleased now to be joined by our activist of the week. By way of introduction, he's a campaign director for Forecast the Facts, which has as its goal to inform the public that climate change is upon us, that we have a future of droughts, floods, extreme weather. It's here. The goal is to empower everyday citizens to speak out in the face of misinformation and hold accountable those who mislead the public wherever they may be conducting this misleading effort. And so we're so pleased to be joined. Our activist of the week, Brad Johnson, campaign director for Forecast the Facts. Brad, congratulations and welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
So, Brad, we were particularly impressed because last weekend there was an online organizing training weekend in Washington, D.C. There was a speech by Valerie Jarrett, one of the top advisors to President Obama, and you stood up and you interrupted her and asked her to and wondered why the president and the administration were not talking about the reality of climate change. First of all, how'd you do it, and what was the reaction that you got?
I did it by standing up. When I found out that she was speaking, I took a seat in the front row, and actually, it was when she started talking about the fiscal cliff that motivated me to speak out, because I don't know if you've been watching this, but even after the devastation of Sandy, we still have Washington, D.C. debating a wholly manufactured and artificial crisis instead of confronting the very real, albeit also manufactured, but extraordinarily real crisis of climate change. So that was my motivation, and she was actually very gracious. After I spoke out, she asked me to come and speak with her afterwards, and she invited me to speak with her at the White House about climate change.
Oh, that's great. And so has that meeting taken place?
No, we have to follow up, and I'm hoping that she will be open to having some of the people who have been working to fight and rebuild from Hurricane Sandy to come and speak with her to help the administration understand why their decision to be silent on this crisis, and also to promote the continued production of fossil fuels is immoral and also just anti-American.
We're talking with Brad Johnson. You can find him on Twitter at ClimateBrad. He's the campaign manager for Forecast the Facts. Brad, this issue of climate change, it's the thing that has been so astounding to me is that I think when it comes to the fossil fuel industry, it's the only time in sort of recorded history when we allow major corporations to essentially take their garbage, dump them, pump them into the environment, and not have to pay a dime. And that's what they're doing with their emissions. And the fact that there's no charge, they get to do it for free, and we can see the scientific results of this. It's astounding.
Well, and it's even more than that. I mean, the fossil fuel industry gets literally, by some calculation, depending on who you ask, the subsidies they get to do this range from merely the billions of dollars to the tens of billions of dollars, and we also have to remember that the fossil fuels that they're burning are they're mining. The fossil fuels that are coming from like the Gulf of Mexico and these coal reserves, those are owned by the American people. This is part of these are public resources, which we are selling to the fossil fuel companies at like cents on the dollar, and then they sell it back to the American people and take the profits and then hold us with the bag for the cost, while we also give them subsidies because, at least ostensibly, letting them do this is in the public interest.
Your organization, which has just done some amazing work, and again, it's called Forecast the Facts. You guys have had a national campaign to call on corporations to pull their support from the Heartland Institute, which is a fossil fuel industry front group posing as a think tank in an effort to deny climate science. Recently, you were challenging political leaders, President Obama and others, to end their silence on climate change. You had a great YouTube ad asking Mitt Romney to end his silence on climate change. Romney versus Sandy, that went viral. What's next for the organization? What do you guys have ahead in the next couple of months?
Well, one thing we're going to do is we're continuing to fight on our core original campaign, which was going after and challenging TV meteorologists to speak out about climate change. Unfortunately, about a quarter of them are hardcore global warming deniers, which is pretty amazing, and it's really bad. But fortunately, we've been working with our members and other grassroots organizations to start changing that on the ground, like just encouraging people to, actually helping organize them to meet with their meteorologists and confront the station managers and learn about and basically, demand that we get these are our most trusted speakers on climate change. The polling is very clear that they are the front lines, and asking, and basically demanding that they tell the truth, that our weather has been poisoned by fossil fuels, and that we need to be more prepared for it. And so that's the one big thing. And also, we're definitely going to continue our fight on making sure that the victims of Sandy are not suffering for no reason. And we're super committed to that.
Well, Brad, you can never overestimate the stupidity of folks on TV, particularly the weather forecasters. Trust me, I know some of them. They're not the brightest bunch, and it is remarkable. We trust them for the weather, but we don't trust them for whatever reason. They can't be trusted to understand basic science. I've never quite understood it. Brad Johnson, our Activist of the Week, campaign manager for Forecast the Facts. Brad, thanks so much for being part of the program. We appreciate you coming on.
Oh, and I really appreciate your leadership on this and so many other issues. I mean, it's a financial and moral and as well as a physical crisis, and you really get that.
Thanks. We're right there with you, Brad. We appreciate it. Brad Johnson, campaign manager for Forecast the Facts. You can find him on Twitter at ClimateBrad or at Forecast Facts. Take Action News continues after this.